Chapter 5. Southern coast of Texas, near present-day Corpus Christi. Spring sea harvest celebration, early 1600s. In the first minutes of his travel to the past, Bill was taken completely unawares. One moment, he was futzing with the dials on the grandfather clock. The next moment, bang, whoosh, business casual in the midst of a rollicking Native American celebration. At first, it felt as though he'd vanished, dissolving into nothingness. He was aware that he was. He just wasn't sure where his physical body fit into this new reality. It was a surreal sensation, like dreaming. The kind of dream where you still know who you are inside, but it's less important what you are outside. Secret of the universe right there, folks. Enjoy. It was as if he was a brain without substance, purely traveling energy. And he was. Then slowly, he felt his body downloading substance again. A feeling of having his essence scan like a computer program, bit by bit, building a corporeal lifeform versus an avatar. Overall, the entire curious experience gave Bill the tingles. Once reformatted, Bill shook his head to see straight, turning habitually towards the open door of the dining room, but it was no longer there. Instead, there were the gleaming, tattooed, writhing bodies of at least 100 indigenous peoples leaping and yipping, whirling and dancing around him. Bill froze. The chanting and singing stopped suddenly as well. The Native Americans, who had just moments before been dancing in honor of the gods of the sea hunt, stood motionless before him, mouths agape. Only the oblivious drummers had yet to look up. The beating of their skin drums reverberated through the darkness, scored by the loop of the surf in the distance. Bill was attired in his typical suburban uniform: khaki pants, a comfortable pullover golf shirt, loafers, ankle socks, and a retro phone holster. Reflexively, he reached for his phone. The natives, likewise, reached for their weapons. Was this a huge joke? Had the Sanders drugged him during dinner? Too much to drink? A stroke? What had he been doing before he got here? He'd been touching the clock. The clock! It dawned on him then that perhaps his uncle was right. The clock was dangerous. There was, of course, no way for Bill to readily ascertain where he was, or when he was, for that matter. So there he stood, phone in hand, frozen. The natives froze, weapons poised in hand. One lone drummer, head down into his craft, had yet to look up and notice the hubbub. He played on, his drum staccato echoing merrily through the camp, oblivious until nudged by the drummer beside him. Glancing up, his hand stilled as he beheld one William Ray Finkle, texting furiously, "WTF, you there? WTF, frowny face, fire, poo emoji." As the tribe watched patiently and curiously, Bill punched the screen with practiced thumbs. Not surprisingly, he couldn't get cell service. Some of the more superstitious natives began moaning fearfully, regarding the stranger warily as the children were pushed behind elders or handed to fleeing kin. One diminutive elder, however, was pushed forward by the others. Hesitantly, a feather-caped, wrinkled elder sporting a hooded, beaked mask resembling a bird approached Bill. He held his right hand up in a peaceful, palm-forward position. Bill holstered his phone, enthusiastically returning the gesture with a friendly Texas smile. The flash of his white teeth nearly blinded the old man, who shielded his eyes instinctively. Bill had just had his teeth professionally bleached the week prior, and the results were, as promised, striking. The old man hobbled forward to stand directly before Bill, boldly ogling him as a withered hand snaked out to lightly touch Bill's chest. At first contact, the hand jerked back as if burned. He gasped. The tribe gasped. The birdman turned, shushing them impatiently before running his other gnarled hand slowly, appreciatively across the left shoulder of Bill's golf shirt. The 50/50 cotton spandex polyblend was the softest material the Birdman had ever touched. He pounded Bill's chest and arms more firmly as if to reassure himself that this creature was indeed a solid being, before stepping back and raising his right arm into the air, silencing the grumbling crowd as people pushed and shoved to see what would happen next. The Birdman addressed Bill directly while pointing to the sky. "Nayuna kunt habi." He repeated his question. "Ayuna kunt habi." Bill looked up at the sky with him, searchingly, as if they were watching an impressive 4th of July fireworks show. He nodded approvingly. He'd learned this type of defensive maneuvering at an employee management seminar in Tulsa. It was called mirroring. To accomplish this, you simply mirrored the person to whom you were speaking, copying their body language and general disposition. Satisfied, the Birdman let out a high-pitched ululation, whirling around to speak loudly, forcefully to the gathered people. Words Bill thought he heard. Peach tree, weebelows, any outie, yoo-hoo, washateria, dismay, Novartis. Loose translation. I have no idea who this man is or where he came from. Since he has shown up during a holy celebration, we won't kill him tonight. Maybe he is indeed a god. I mean, he does have a really soft shirt, but he doesn't look like a god, so I'm not sure. I say, let's just wait and see what this weird-looking fucker does. The tribe whooped with joy and relief, merrily surrounding Bill while leading him to the place of honor closest to the fire, where they fed him raw sea urchin and took turns rapturously caressing his shirt for the rest of the pleasant evening.